Oregon's primary election is less than 2 months away now. We've been focusing on the governor's race, but there are also some big races in our congressional districts. So we're keeping our eye out for candidates who pivot when they're asked questions. Let me explain what a pivot is. It's easiest to imagine if you think of basketball. When I ask someone a question, it's like passing the ball to them. If they answer the question directly, it's like they pass it back to me. But with the pivot, I pass them the ball in the form of a question they don't like, and instead of passing the ball back to me, they pivot and then pass the ball somewhere else. So instead of answering the question they don't like, they simply change the question to something they do like, even though that's not what I asked. In my 37 years as a reporter, I have found the people who do that the most are politicians. Tonight's pivot involves Oregon Congressman Schrader. He's running for re-election in the state's 5th district, which looks a lot different after redistricting. Laural Porter talked to him this week on Straight Talk and asked him about some moves he's made in the stock market and whether he would support a ban on immediate family members as well as members of Congress from trading stock. Listen to how he pivots away from the family members portion.
Well, Business Insider ran a story about some of your stock trading, that you sold up to $30,000 worth of shares in Charter Communications and insurance giant AON PLC last year, but you didn't disclose the sales by the required deadline, and that you're one of 55 congressional members who violated Congress's Stock Act. Now, there's proposed legislation sponsored by Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley that would ban federal lawmakers and immediate family members from trading stocks. Do you support that legislation?
I support not having members be able to trade stocks. When I first came to Congress, Laural, I gave that up. I have an independent financial advisor that does all the stock trading for me. I have no idea what's going on in there. I get a report just like everyone else does at the end of the month. And apparently they screwed up and did not report that Charter trade in time. We went ahead and as soon as we found out, made the correction like many other legislators do. If you try, and with the Stock Act, if you try and game the system, you get caught. I had a colleague of mine from New York that was inside trading. He's in jail right now. We can do more, and I've made sure that there's no undue influence on any of my votes as a result of my own stock investments. That's done by someone else, and I have nothing to do with it.
Well, I have a couple questions about that. I mean, why wouldn't you want to know more if something is going on that looks like it's violated the Stock Trade Act? And will you sign on to this legislation from Senator Merkley? It's different than the Stock Act. It's the Ban Conflicted Trading Act. Why not sign on to that legislation if you want to be tough on trading stocks?
Well, I'll take a look at it. Sounds good to me. From the way you describe it, I have not actually seen that particular legislation. But as I said, the main thing I think for viewers to know is that I have not actively engaged in any stock trading since I came to the United States Congress.
Well, let me tell you about this other act that is coming from Senator Merkley. It would hold lawmakers to tighter standards and prevent top congressional officials from making money off their positions, even if these moves may not be considered insider trading. Shouldn't voters feel like that you won't be influenced by your decisions on how it would benefit you financially? So what's wrong with going ahead and signing that Merkley legislation?
Well, if that's what it does, I'm a yes.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing you sign on to that.
Did you hear the pivot? He said he's fine with having himself restricted from insider trading while totally sidestepping the idea of his immediate family also being kept from trading stocks. And for that, I'm pleased to award Congressman Schrader with our Pivot of the Day award. Congratulations, sir. And for anyone who thinks we're picking on him because he's a Democrat, we're not. We hand these out to people on both sides of the aisle. You can watch the rest of Laural's interview with Schrader on Straight Talk at 7 o'clock tonight. She also spoke with his primary challenger, Jamie McLeod Skinner. We also want to remind you about this week's Hey Help campaign. We're asking you to donate to the KGW Great Food Drive. Your generous donations have already helped raise more than 1.2 million meals. Our new goal is 1.5 million, and there's still time to donate. One easy way to make a donation is at any Safeway. You'll be given a dollar amount at the checkout. You can also see the ways to donate, or if you need assistance, by visiting kgw.com/food drive. We also want to thank Pacific Office Automation, local Toyota dealers, Rivermark Community Credit Union, and Safeway for supporting this year's food drive. Keep sending your questions and comments to thestory@kgw.com.